Hi, and welcome to Two Tired Teachers.
Today we want to discuss if we go to Alaska again,
And we may.
what will we do the same, what will we do differently? And we'll start kind of like we did the entire series with the planning.
We're going to do basically the same
Plan,
designations.
The preparing the things that we're going to carry that we didn't carry before. And the biggie?
Heavier clothes and a dehumidifier.
Dehumidifier is, really on the top of our list. That's mainly for August. If you're not going to be in Alaska in August/September.
It'll still be a little damp.
But we really noticed the condensation in starting at Valdez, and so if you have a dehumidifier in your RV, please leave a comment, and it works well for you, let us know. We haven't made that purchase, but that's a biggie. And then chamois, it's not exactly, it's called a chamois, and I got them in a Walmart here for my kayak, and I loved it. So when we got to Alaska and realized, hey, we need something. It was an actual real chamois, and it got hard and when it got used, and the ones here are soft, and I'll show you what it looks like. Very inexpensive, but throw a couple of those in so that we can keep the windows at least with water off of them to some extent.
But the walls were damp. It was wet.
It got really wet. But overall, the things that we did worked well.
And
we had started, sorry?
We'll do a lot of those again.
And what I meant by that was, like, we went to Aldi before we left.
Yes.
And we bought just cases and cases and cases of vegetables, canned vegetables to carry with us.
Because in Canada and in Alaska, sometimes their vegetables were as much as $2 a can.
Yeah, and so having those with us, one thing that if we go again, would suggest we carry more of, and that would be the little prepackaged fruit, like the little Dole fruit cups. If you can get Walmart brand of those kinds of things, kind of helped.
Yes.
So, but overall, everything else that we did worked well.
Yes.
And so we're going to talk about our route. And the route from here to the Canadian border, if you're heading to Alaska, that's going to depend on where you're leaving from. The one thing that we will do differently getting to Canada,
we're leaving from Central Texas, and you go north.
Yeah, but we're going to leave out Glacier National Park this time. We've done the west side, we've done the east side, and the goal for a trip like this, for us, is Canada and Alaska.
Yes.
You say Alaska because that's the furthest you're going, but if that's your mindset, you miss a lot in Canada.
Yes.
Canada is gorgeous. Now, once we cross over and we're on the road that's heading to Calgary, I'm going to show you the route we're going to go to avoid Calgary. Our goal last time was to go to Calgary and restock.
Yes.
We did not know that Walmarts in Canada are not the same as they are in the lower 48.
Nor did we know that in Calgary, they did not advertise anything along the way, and so you don't know where the gas stations or grocery stores or anything is, restaurants. You don't know any of that.
Yeah, watch our video. We spent a couple of hours, I think, circling Calgary. So we're going to avoid that. This is a scenic drive. It is gorgeous. The road's great. It's a 2-lane road. You do have some cattle guards all along. They're called Texas Gates, I think is what they were called on that road. But it is a scenic drive. There are some ski lodges when you get closer to the highway. You're going to be on that road for several hours, but that's okay. It's beautiful and direct, and it's a scenic drive, and you're getting gorgeous views instead of frustration.
Yes.
In Calgary. And then from there north, We may spend a little bit more time we're going to make sure our credit cards work before we leave home.
Yes.
That's a biggie. Not sure what we're going to do about cell service, but we know we're going to, our phones are now unlocked. My phone's unlocked. And so we'll see. But we will double check that before we go any distance. We're going to make sure those credit cards are, and we're going to enter where we have on like a Monday or a Tuesday, so we have several days before we go anywhere to make sure those cards are working. That's going to be a big change this time. We may spend a little more time near Banff. There were a couple of things we didn't get to do there because we were focused on trying to restock a little bit without money and getting our phones to work. And so we missed some things we wanted to see in the Banff area. Driving Icefield Parkway in June is absolutely amazing. We'll do that. And then we're going to go on and drive the Alaska Highway.
Yes.
It is gorgeous, amazing, beautiful, and most of the same stops.
Yes.
Taking our time was a good thing there. Now, if you watched,
I don't know whether I want to go back top of the world highway, because once you get into the U.S. again from Canada, it takes a long time.
Yeah, that is, if you watched our series, you know that when we got to Whitehorse, Yukon, we turned north on the Klondike Highway, went up to Dawson City, and then rode the ferry across. It's just so much fun. And then top of the world highway. Top of the world highway is gravel, but it's a great road, no problems. I really think what we may do will be just to go straight up to Tok. Now, the section of the Alaska Highway from Whitehorse basically to Tok is the worst section of that road. There are chug holes, there are frost heaves and all of that, but we saw it coming back, but we didn't see it going up. And so we may do it this way where we go and then decide about top of the world highway on our way back.
Yeah, because as slow as you have to come to do the Alaska Highway from Tok.
Well, the Alaska Highway goes from basically Dawson Creek in the British Columbia, edge of British Columbia, up to Delta Junction in Alaska. And I know we're talking about cities that you may not be familiar with if you've watched our series. I tried to show you where all these are, but we're going to drive that entire thing this time is what we're talking about. Some things, that route is going to be the same. The big difference in the route is going to be on our way home. We're not going to drive the Cassiar Highway. The big thing on the Cassiar Highway, which we're thrilled we did, you go across to Hyder, Alaska, where they have bear viewing. And we bought a 3-day pass there, had a great dispersed site. It was like a half a mile from the bear viewing place. And we did see bear there. But to us, the drive was not nearly as awe-inspiring, impressive as the Alaska Highway. And I want to see the Alaska Highway with fall colors.
Yes.
And we missed that. And so that would be, we would come back the Alaska Highway. Some people say they prefer the Cassiar. I wasn't as impressed.
No.
Now, when you get to the main part of Alaska, the paved roads are essentially a triangle with roads that come off of it. You enter at Tok, go, and it's a triangle up to Fairbanks, back down to Anchorage, and then across to Tok. One thing we will do differently at Fairbanks, we didn't go out to Chena Hot Springs. Don't know if we'll go all the way out there, but there are places along the route out there. We're going to be looking into some things that are north of Fairbanks and trying to make some wise decisions about things that we might do in that region. This one is going to shock most people, I think, and that is, I don't know that we will spend a lot of time at Denali.
If any. I mean,
It was the
we
most.
liked it.
It was a beautiful. It's beautiful, obviously, the park, but it was one of the most crowded areas we were
Yes.
in Alaska, and I think it probably was the most crowded area we were in
so.
Alaska, and so.
With the possible exception of the state fair.
Well, and Talkeetna. But I digress. The best views we had of the mountain were not within. We got some good views in the park on our way out, but we had better views of the mountain outside of the park.
Yes.
So. The ranger programs are wonderful. I'd love to go back to some of those, but that was it. And then we went to the state fair. Don't know that we will go to it again. It depends on what our schedule is. I don't think we would double back like we did last time just to go to the state fair, because we've done it before.
Yes.
If you've not been to Denali National Park, then yes, that's definitely a place you want to go. If you've not been to the state fair and you're going to be there when it's open, go. But spending more time around the Fairbanks area, north of the town, not in the city, definite. The Kenai Peninsula, if we go again, we definitely want to volunteer
With Alaska missions.
and so I will try. I would like to spend a little more time down at Homer and try some more salmon fishing there. But I was getting sick that day, and so
Yeah.
we just cut it short. But the Kenai Peninsula was fine. We'll spend some time there. Definitely Valdez.
Yes.
Loved Valdez. But the one big thing I'm going to say is that wildlife preserve, if you are taking a cruise to Alaska and you haven't seen a lot of wildlife, then that preserve is a great place to be able to see wildlife that's indigenous to the state. We were so blessed with, when we got into Canada, day one, we saw
Yes.
a black bear at the side of the road. Day two, we saw a grizzly at the side of the road. And then we saw a number of bear throughout our travels. We saw sheep and goats and elk and moose.
Yes.
I'm trying to think what else.
Caribou. Did we see
Yes, caribou, a fox,
We saw all kinds.
ptarmigan,
Oh,
bald
yeah.
eagles all the
Yes.
time, and then trout, Arctic gray, salmon. So we saw lots of these things in their natural habitat, which is the way we want to see them.
Yeah, because we were a bit disappointed, and we shouldn't have been. The ones at the preserve were they were caged. They were
Obviously, yeah.
confined.
They're not going to
And-
let you be.
Yeah, and that was kind of sad after seeing them in their natural habitat without fences.
And so, like we said, the big things that we would do, most of it's going to be pretty much the same.
Yes.
If you've watched our series, you have seen, I've just been putting thumbnails over a lot of this to show you some of the amazing things that we were able to go and see and do. We talked about it being a trip of a lifetime because it's 10,000 miles
Yeah,
for us. But it's that amazing.
yes, it is.
And
It's so amazing that we truly are seriously considering another trip to Alaska.
of all of our travels, it just almost brings me to tears to think about, I'm sitting in a kayak with a trout on a line, a bald eagle in a tree next to me, and I'm looking at Denali.
Yeah.
Wow. It's just, it's amazing. And so it was out of our comfort zone to go. It was.
Yes.
It was so much further, so many, things that we didn't know
Yeah.
when we started out. We tried to do everything we could to prepare, but would not take for that trip. It's that amazing, and if you're considering going, we are two old women. We made it.
Yeah.
We made it fine. And would consider going again. Yes, there were some minor repairs. Yeah, there were, issues with our phones and credit cards. That's all part of what we remember
Yes.
about the trip. Big suggestions I would say is do not blow through Canada.
No.
Let the journey be part of it if you have the time. If you're just gunning for Alaska, I feel like you're going to miss out on a lot.
Yes.
And then understand that some bumps along the road are going to be part of it, literally.
Yes.
Yeah, having been, our suggestion is if you get a chance, go. Definitely.
Yeah.
So, if you have any questions about our journey, feel free to ask.
Yes.
And thanks for watching
Two tired teachers.